All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. We are doing a sector I haven't done in a while. It's the crypto sector, okay? We will be looking at Coin and Mara on this one, Marathon. Look, obviously a lot of positivity, a little bit of a cool down, but at least it was what looks like a healthy cool down, right? So we'll get into the details shortly, but real quick, what are we going to do today? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how things are setting up. We have our five moving averages. There are none, so I will be drawing some horizontal support and resistance lines here. And then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, if you can please like and subscribe, it does really well with the YouTube algorithms. Nonetheless, look, I sincerely appreciate your time and I'm so glad that you're here. And hey, if you disagree with anything that I got to say, please let me know. All right, I'd rather you tell me in the comments than me lose some money in the market, right? So not financial advice, but two-way street, obviously. So let's get into it. Look, first and foremost, when you have the first stock and the second stock that we're going to look at, Marathon, both basically over 15%, closer to 20 than 15, both of them, I mean, that's big, right? And a lot of the reason why I like doing these sector reviews, it's important to look at what the rest are doing. One stock moving at 17%, this is a little bit of an anomaly, and you kind of generally think pump and dump, right? But when the others kind of do it as well, it really makes you think that, hey, something might be going on here, all right? Just purely technical speaking, look, this obviously breaks the 8 and the 20 and does a very beautiful run, breaking the 50, breaking the 100, actually even getting a little bit over the 200, right? Definitely gets a little bit of a cool down and then nicely bounces on the 100. Today, aside from this 15% gain, which is easy to focus on, what I'm focusing on is the break of three moving averages on a single candle, okay? That's huge. And in all honesty, look, I'm expecting a gap up right here, okay? I would love this thing to close like right there. Let's see if we can actually retake or surpass this 2-2 candle. I would love to get us at like 81.90, 81.75 even. This thing's at actually even 81.50 will do it. This thing closed at 46, right? So yeah, I would love the confirmation of these three lines to actually be taking this. 50% candle won't be too bad. I really wouldn't mind if we close at like this right here, 74.70 give or take, right? It'll put us over this, it'll put us over this, and 50% is something I often talk about, right? But again, technically speaking, this was obviously the best place to enter. You clearly would have gotten out once it got under the 8, right? Good things happen over the 8, bad things happen under. If you're going to break three, look, even if you're going to break two lines, right? It's not easy breaking one. You can see how long it took for it to just break that one, right? So taking three out in one shot, I need to know it's not a fluke. And that for me means good confirmation, right? But yeah, a lot of reason to be bullish. This is a beautiful full candle. We are now back over all five moving averages, and just don't be look, red right here. There's a lot of reason to believe it should come to at least right here. I'll be honest though, I think I'm expecting a little more, right? Like RSI looks like it's getting ready to peak up. This actually never went into the negative, so it did a good, beautiful run up, needed a little bit of a cool down, and hey, it might be ready to go back. And then clearly last 2 days have been some pretty good volume, right? So let's see. I mean, obviously, again, tomorrow's confirmation is probably going to be a little bit more important than today's 17% gain. Look, this is a good weekly, right? And again, technicals speak out a lot, right? It does a good job breaking the 8, breaking the 20, does a wick, but at least some sort of test of the 50. But luckily, this break of the 20 right here, where you get a couple weeks of green, actually was real. And we got to use this 8 and 20 combo as a bounce, right? I mean, look, how many times have we seen it where it looks like it wants to get over, fails, looks like it wants to get over, fails, looks like it wants to get over and gets failed. This one breaks, good confirmation, another confirmation, and then when bad things happen, the good lines come in, right? And look, that's still a nice MACD, that's still a nice RSI, that's actually still good volume over the last couple weeks, still negative on the MACD, but again, I'm liking it. And just a quick zoom out, this 50 is the last moving average. This thing has not been alive for 100 weeks, so we do not have 100, and we don't, like, when I click here, all you're going to see are the three moving averages, right? So we have never closed over the 50. And if we do, that will actually technically put us over all the moving averages, which obviously is a big, big place to be, right? So I'm going to draw this line. I'll see what it looks like on the daily, but we at least need to know that and that. Let's have the top and the bottom. Um, yeah, honestly, that's really all I need from the weekly. Let's see where we're at on the daily. So, oh, look at that. That's literally, I think, what we talked about. 74.75 was the 50% line. I love it. We'll keep it just because it's the weekly. I really don't practice these before I make these, I swear. So, but it does make me smile when that happens. So, cool. And then, I'm gonna put this, but see, I was gonna put this one, but it looks like, yeah, I mean, at that point, you're basically on the 100. So I actually think this is a pretty good stack because look, if you lose this 50 moving average right here, which is at 48, and by no means am I saying it, right? But if this is lost, this green, 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 right, that basically is over that 50 will quickly turn to red, 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 and hey, maybe come to really this line right here. So let me see what happens then the next leg up. Okay, so I'll put that line right there. I think that's a good one to put. I almost put this doji right here, but honestly, I don't think it's needed. This potentially could be a line too, this 95. And you know what? It's not bad because it's actually a good in between. So it's not actually the doji I'm taking. I'm taking pretty much the top of the highest candle minus that guy. So yeah, I think this is pretty good. Look, obviously the 74.74 is what I'd like tomorrow's confirmation to be. I think the next big lines are really this 81.94 and 112 rounding. And then sorry, I was zooming out the wrong way. These two are going to be the next important lines before this 34, but really it shouldn't, this 48 should do a pretty good job. You know what I mean? So we did get a nice bounce, like I said. Let's just see what this confirmation looks like. So coin spent a little bit longer than I normally do, but again, it's been a while since I've done this sector. So marathon, Mara. So again, a lot of the same story we just said in coin, right? Same break, at least of the moving average. Couldn't quite get there. I think we said coin, not KO. Coin hit coin actually surpassed the 200, right? So coin looks better technically because it's actually gotten higher, right? That said, though, look, tries to get to the 100, definitely fails, goes under the 8 for all these days, goes under the 20 for all these days, but then boom, the 50, right? So again, these moving averages, when they're your friend, they're great. When they're bad, it's horrible, right? And I often say, start by getting over the 8 and the 20, and then good things will happen, right? So real cool to see that the 50 actually was the bounce point here. Good break of the 8, good break of the 20. Look, in some ways, this candle's a little, I mean, I don't know if the word is better, but coin broke three lines in one candle, okay? Coin has a lot more expectation in terms of the next move it has to do. Mara, really, look, if Marathon can get me just over this line, I'll be real happy, actually. I would love to get it right here. And honestly, at that point, that would be a good place to go. And then we'll see what this 200 does, right? But I actually don't mind the fact that this only took one line versus the 3 that coin put. And this actually got just a little bit higher percentage. But end of the day, 18%, 17%, those are wild, wild numbers for a single day. They really are, all right? So again, we kind of talked about it right here, but I do like the fact that we've like done a little bit of movement on this 100, right? The resistance lines, like as you chip away at it, hopefully it gets a little weaker and weaker, right? That's a real nice MACD. You can see that this thing was definitely going parabolic down, and it's nice that it's kind of picking up. We get some good volume, and it was actually a healthy volume from yesterday, right? And this goes from almost zero, right, to back into, or sorry, negative to back into the positive, which is nice. So really, Marathon, sorry, I keep saying Marathon, I would love to see this. Obviously, that line right there is important, but I am going to put this line here because it is this peak, and it is actually worth noting. A lot of red here, man. Look at I always say it, right? Red with like an insignificant green here and there is so easy to fill, and that's very much what happened. I'll draw this line up here. If the 200 breaks, we'll take the top of this guy. And then in terms of below, I think this, oh, nice. That makes sense why it took off right there. So I would have drawn the line right here and you see it. Look, obviously I'm going to give way more credit to the 50 moving average, but yeah, this makes sense that it was an important support and it actually almost lines up to the bottom of that one too. So really, the next one down is pretty far down. I would take this as the next real support. So if this 50 isn't a real hold, it'll come down to 422. And look, let me just say one thing, okay? You have all 5 moving averages in what I often call a horizontal cluster. And look, it actually happens almost right here. You can see all 5. They're not super tight. These 4 are obviously tighter, but look, even with these 5, you either violently go up if you can break the top one, or really, really bad things happen if you lose the bottom one. And you clearly see it right there, right? This was on the verge of losing the bottom again and falling, but look, it's making its way to past the middle. Hopefully this time maybe it actually has a little bit of legs to make it to the top. And then, yeah, if it could break the top, I mean, 14.60, $15 roughly is probably realistic, and looks like I can actually raise this just a little bit more and maybe actually make it 15. Yeah, 45. I'm good with that. So yeah, obviously just again, like I said, tomorrow's confirmation is still important because we are in the process of breaking moving averages, but yeah, both do look really bullish, I'll be honest with you, right? And as long as tomorrow's confirmation is good, I'll love it, right? And look, a lot of bad things are happening here on this weekly. I will say Coin has a better weekly. No, actually it doesn't. I'm going to take that back. Coin has a simpler weekly, I guess, because there's less moving averages. I think that's really what caught my eye. But look, you have all 5 of the moving averages. It's clearly going under the 20 and the 8 for a while. It's made some movements where it's tried to get over it. But yeah, that 200 right there is obviously the last one for a reason, right? So I'm liking this. Obviously, a lot of that was driven by today, right? So let's see if we actually can get over this 20. What's cool about the last couple times, like what's different about this versus this is there's a little bit of a healthier gap here, right? All these were so close that even if it ever broke it, that 200 was ultimately going to like come into play. Here, if you break this, you really only have the 50 to worry about before you have to like even think about the 200, right? So I like this weekly spacing a little better. And then obviously that's a nice MACD. That's a better RSI than we've seen in a while. This was the last good one, and hey, it was pretty good. And then again, volume's still a little early, but let's see what happens. So overall, I like that the two have a lot in common, and on both of them, tomorrow's confirmation matters a lot, but it seems like they should hit confirmation. I'll at least say that much. So, hey, I hope you're learning. If you disagree with anything, please let me know. Have a great one.